Ho ho ho. As you can see, it's Christmas. That's not even my tree though. But this is my beard. I've had quite a bit of Christmas spirit to drink tonight, so I shall keep this video short. And since it's Christmas, well, as you can see, the day before Christmas, but still, I thought it'd be a good time for people to check up on their scheduled tasks. Because what else is Christmas for? Recently, I found some tasks running PowerShell scripts, and these PowerShell scripts had hard-coded credentials in them, so it got me thinking. Scheduled tasks are actually a really good and easy way for a malicious actor to gain privilege escalation if they have certain rights. So what we're going to look at tonight is how can a low privilege user gain administrative access through a misconfigured scheduled task. Let's start. So what we've got here is a Windows file server, and if we just have a look at this user, if we look at the groups and the privileges, we can see that this user called Grinch is original, is a low privilege user, right? If we now have a look at scheduled tasks, we won't see any scheduled tasks. This is because this users can only see their own scheduled tasks, unless you're an administrator, in which case you can see everyone's scheduled tasks. But as a low privilege user, this user can't see any. So a key giveaway is if we look and see the C drive, what we can see is we can see a backup folder. So what folders are not the default folders? We can see the backup folder, we can see important data, we can see temp, and we can see scripts. So if we try and open some of these, we can see we don't have access to that. We don't have access to that. If we try and open scripts, we've got access to scripts. Right, and then there's a file in here called backup. So if we look at this file, we can see system administrators and users, which we are, and we can see we've got a modify. We've got the modify permission. So what that means is we can change this file. And logically, we can think that sometimes you have to take leaps. And here the leap would be that this scripts folder is probably getting run by a scheduled tasks in order to back up stuff that might be in here or might be somewhere else. So as a non-privileged user that's got access to this file, what can we do? Right, so if we open this, what we can see is that it creates a log file. Okay, cool. It takes a source, which is important data, and it puts it in the destination, which is backup. We can't open either of those, so we don't know what's in there. So what can we do? So we can add a line in here, and what we can do is we can do net local group administrators, and then we can add ourselves into the administrators for the local admins. So if we do that, and we do Control+S, save that, we can see, if we open that again, that's been saved. So now the problem is we don't know how often this scheduled task runs, when it runs, what the triggers is for this scheduled task. So one thing we can do for this demo is let's open scheduled tasks, and we open task scheduler as, we'll just run it as administrator, just as a demo. So if we open, right, so remember this task scheduler has been opened as admin just as for the demo. So in here we can see a task running called backup task. If we open it, we can see the trigger is, it repeats every 5 minutes, okay, indefinitely. And if we look at what it does, it opens PowerShell and it runs that script. So instead of waiting for it, let's just run this script. So we run it, do F5 to refresh. We can see, okay, we can see here 0x0, so it's run successfully. And what we can do now is if we have a look in here now, and we do who am I /all, nothing will have changed, okay? So what we need to do is we need to log out as this user and then log back in. So if we have a look now, we do who am I all, we can see it's part of the built-in admins group, and he's got more privileges as well. If we now open task scheduler, we can see that task as well, since we're in the administrators group. And just to be sure, if we do net local group administrators, whoa, jeez. We can see that the Grinch is part of the administrators. And just like that, we're a local admin. It's a Christmas miracle. Other ways that this could get exploited is with things like if you can see the scheduled tasks and you can see where it's pointing, you can put in, and you've got write access to that location or modify access to that location. Then you can put in a malicious executable, you can do DLL hijacking, things like that. And since if you're an administrator, you'll be able to see other people's scheduled tasks, other people in the domain as well. So you might be able to run that scheduled task and run executable as a different user. So those are all things to keep in mind what a malicious actor might be able to do. So what a malicious actor could do is they could try and save or export the SAM and system registry hives. So if we open a session as administrator, even though we are an administrator, we need to run it in a administrative PowerShell or CMD. So what we can do is if we do reg save, and we'll do the local machine SAM, and we'll save it to ctemp. ctemp, and we'll just call it sam.save. Run that, operation completed successfully. We can do the same with the system file and the security file. What we can do with that is they will export that and then either crack it on here, which is very unlikely, or try and crack it offline. So use something like in-packet secrets dump in order to dump all the hashes, and then from those hashes you'll either be able to parse the hash or be able to crack the hash. And that's all I've got for you tonight. So yeah, I did spell that right. Nice.